All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and during my Saturday 6 p.m. Central board game stream, I'm going to be showing you this time some more Star Wars X-Wing, and this could be another unboxing video. So I'm not going to be showing you gameplay, not going to be showing you meta. This just be going, hey, what's in the box, what do you get, and what's cool stuff that's in the Squadron Pack for Fury of the First Order. For the First Order, of course. So of course, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here on twitch.tv/Ismortah, as well as videos will be here, as well as on YouTube at Shadow Balance Games, and then updates to the calendar and content is on Twitter at Shadow Balance. Let me bring up the chat window. I'll try to check this out periodically to respond to you guys. All right, let's get into it. So this is pretty iconic because this is the trio that was in episode 8 of the Star Wars saga. Looks like you got 2 of the First Order bombers, and then Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter. Open up, see what it's all about. And what's cool about these Squadron Packs, if not familiar, is the fact that it's out of the box, ready to go. Like whenever you play Star Wars X-Wing, you play with a squadron against another squadron. And this is, you have enough ships and upgrade cards you can swap in, swap out to make your builds to play somebody. So it's like, this is all you need. That's pretty cool. Because as you know, you can only play, even though you can play a faction against any faction, you have to play all of the same faction ships, that whatever you're being. So if you're playing First Order, they all have to be First Order ships. Some ship models can be multiple factions, like for example, a Y-Wing, the BTL version anyway. But, yeah. Cool. All right, so let's see what this is all about. I got this a little while ago, and I've been waiting to open this up to see all the pretties and new stuff. And I'll definitely hold stuff up to the camera so you get closer shots also. So no worries. There must be order. Try to see what's better for camera. Let's go with that for now. All right, so here's the ships. I actually have an auxiliary thing that I use to hold all my ships, which is good for keeping them safe. The problem is the thing I use for transporting it's soft. So even though it protects all the ships when they're near each other from other ships that I'm carrying, it doesn't protect from external box crushing. Whereas this hard plastic does kind of like a better job. And so I think for transport wise, it's good to keep these actually because it keeps all these guys snug. So I do recommend if you don't have a good storage and safe solution, keep the plastic. And this is all the other goods. This is giving me some interesting game design ideas. I think I'll just keep that for game design purposes, which I will reveal at a later time. Cool, so we got this thing with all these goodies. We'll check that out. Maybe not at all, because other than rules, which we'll go into the very end, I just want to look at, see what's in it. So anyway, you got a thing that's a book pamphlet here that shows you, who made the game in the back, which is important. But new rules and what's in the box. The most important thing in here is actually the new rules, because as far as what it is, it's just a list of shit. What's most important is new rules. All right, so here we got a bunch of bases and stuff, which we could definitely put together. At the end. This let's see. It looks like we got a bunch of tokens, and we got a bunch of cards, which we will reveal all of it. I think the first thing we'll do is get these ships out. Now you definitely have to be careful getting out these ships. Typically with TIE type ships, the wings are held together by very little narrow pieces, and so it's easy to have them bend and break. Fortunately, with the First Order, everything that they make is a thicker design that holds the wing. It's actually the whole side of the ship, not just these narrow tubes. So like you see here, it's it could be a little bit easier to get out because, well, with the exception of this guy, this is like what I'm talking about. Those very narrow pieces connecting the, what do they call it? Where the pilot sits in the wings, it's very narrow, but the bomber, you see, it's very thick. So definitely want to be careful getting all these out. So just barely nudging. Wow, that's cool. I didn't realize all the blasters on the bombers too. It's kind of like X-Wing. It's got, in fact, it's got 4. So does the other one as well. That's cool. Very cool. Just being very careful because I don't want to accidentally bend something. So I'm just doing little, very small corrections, kind of like oscillating. Just doing this with the ship. Lightly to wiggle it up. Wow, I never noticed this with Kylo Ren's ship either. The fact that I knew it had 4 lasers and all the tips, but I didn't realize it got these other things in between the panels. Interesting. Don't worry, I'll do a close-up shot of all these. I'm just very excited. All right, so let's see. And I'll get more details later because I'm even describing all the ships incorrectly as far as what they're called. So here's one of the bombers. And you see, what you see here is, this is where the pilot sits, and this is a bay. Like, for example, I could shoot missiles. And then the bottom, typically, it can drop bombs. But this is like this is for holding all the weapons, is the pilot, typically. Pretty cool. I like it because it's a bomber that also has lots of laser weapon systems. So it's like it's a combination of a TIE interceptor and a TIE bomber is what it looks like. Whereas like you see like the TIE, oh shit, what was it called? Punisher is just a really fat, double fat bomber. This is like combination, looks like between a bomber and a TIE interceptor. And of course, they got 2 of them. They're both identical as far as I can tell. So when you're rocking both, you want to make sure that you're running tags, those numbers they can put on it. That way you know which one it is. That's one of the reasons why I play this game, though. Why I like to use, even if you're running the same type of ship, do different colors. That way, thematically, it's easier to tell which ship is which. But still cool. And then here's Kylo Ren's ship. Again, I said because of the fragility, I wouldn't recommend holding it by the wings because you could accidentally bend it if you have enough pressure. I would hold it by the center, like I'm doing here, if you're going to pick it up. Let's see, he's got those little pieces in between, some sort of like targeting or sensors in between the panels of the wing. Have to see what that's all about. I'm sure it's probably going to be upper grade card that talks about it, I'm sure. Plus, you could see he's got 2 little blasters in the inside, too. Like a typical TIE fighter. I don't know if you can tell from the lighting. Then he's got the little antenna on top, just like a Special Forces TIE. And you see it's got very long wings. Instead of, typically with TIE Fighter, we see it short and stocky. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll necessarily build the stands because I want to pack it away, but I'll show the ships again at the very end as well, so you get another look. Alright, so I'll open this next, but I'm not going to punch this out, but these are all the tokens and shit used for the game. It looks like this one is called the TIE SE Bomber. TIE, maybe it's Special Edition Bomber. And then you have the TIE WI Whisper. So you have TIE Bombers, and this is called the Whisper, the Kylo Ren flies. I was going to call it the TIE Silencer, but that's actually the ship that was in Rogue One, defending the Imperial planet at the end of the movie. The name of the planet escapes me. Don't tip my tongue, I just can't remember it. Scarif? Was that it? I think it was Scarif. Alright, so here are the tokens. Now I think about it, I think I actually might still take out the tokens just because I don't have a way to pack them in. Like I said, I'm going to keep this plastic and this bag for the cards, but probably not going to keep... Like, this guy isn't going to hold anything. I'm using this for other nefarious things. Okay. So it looks like you got two things of tokens that are all different stuff to support these ships. You have the maneuver dials, you have weapon and modification tokens. These look like the effects of certain bombs that you drop, which I believe I saw those rules to that in the rules book that comes with it. All right, so now we'll look at the cards. Actually, before we look at cards, let's look at the dials right quick. You can see, I don't know if you can see it get closer. If you look at the dials, for example, these two, these are the bombers, this is the Whisper. You could see how their options for moving and if it creates stress or not are completely different. You see this has speed, a lot of speed 4 and speed 5 maneuvers. This has more options for getting back stress. So the Whisper is obviously a better maneuverable ship, but the Bomber, as you would expect, probably has more punch or more AoE punch, if anything. We'll find out how those weapons work. All right, so now we're looking at all the cards. Honestly, even though I like the cleaner, UI-wise, I like the cleaner look of the UI on the cards for the pilots. And I like this idea of having pre-made builds, so you can just put that together and play. So you can just jump in and immediately have fun. Those are both two things that are a plus. What I'm not a fan of is the sideways cards and all this wasted space for the upgrade cards. I have to say, not a fan of that. Chiefly because, like, if you're sorting these cards, like in a binder or something, to quickly review, there aren't binders that you can look at sideways. So you're putting in the cards this direction, and it's not ideal for managing or reading a collection of cards. But that's just my design feedback. The game is more streamlined. I heard there's actually current rules that changes initiative of the game, which I'm not a fan of. I'm definitely not going to play that way. I'm going to play the way that the rules for this were first introduced for a long time for 2.0. But anywho, blah. But you can see on the back of the cards, though, anything that's upgrade, what's on the back of the cards, though, is still good. The fact that at a quick glance, you can see what type of upgrades they are easily. And then you can see on the backs of these cards what faction these pilots are. So you can say, oh, okay, these are all First Order. I can play with these. If they look like a rebel symbol, you know, oh, wrong faction. So that's cool. All right, so what do we got here? First we got Kylo. So I'm not going to read through all of these, but the minutia, I'm just going to show it to you, and you can take a glance because I haven't played this game in a while. I don't know all of the mechanics, how they work or have changed, but you can just check it out and see what's cool about each card. So here's Kylo Ren. Like I said, this is an unboxing, not a meta video for playing the Fury of the First Order. Just, hey, what's in it? Oh, it's interesting is he looks like he has a heavy weapons turret. Was there a turret? Did he have a turret? Wait a minute. Really? Oh, yeah, at the very back on the bottom. So if you recall looking at the Special Forces tie, it has a turret and the antenna on the central cockpit. And that's what this looks like. This looks like a combination of the Special Forces tie, but with really long wings that could fire in quad shots like the TIE bomber. Yeah, it looks like an improved version of the Special Forces tie, actually. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is because you see one of his abilities is the heavy weapons turret, which is cool, which you set to a direction. And here's a Wraith, some different stats if you want to roll something other than Kylo Ren. Then we have some other variants. We have Nightfall. We have Whirlwind. th Legion Ace. And again, these are all different variants of the Whisper tie. And Red Fury Zealot. And you see typically how you read these cards, we have here is the initiative for moving and shooting. On the right-hand side, you see different abilities that the ship can take. In the center, you have special abilities for the ship in particular. And bottom, you have basic stats for the ship. Weapons, movement, shields, hull. Basically, on the right, to reiterate, it's the types of tokens. And if you do different maneuvers, what triggers different things to happen on the ship. And its special ability is typically in the center, in text. All right, so now we go on to the bomber cards. Here we have Breach. Then we have Scorch. Then we have Dread. That's a pretty cool picture with all the kind of almost silhouettes of the ships. It's pretty cool. We have Grudge. And you see how different pilots might have different special abilities. By the way, stats on the ships are the same on the right-hand side and the bottom. It's the initiative and the special ability that's going to change depending on what pilot you do. And also, like, for example, like here's the First Order Cadet. You can see on this ship compared to the Whisper, how it's got maneuvers that they actually cause stress when you trigger or use certain tokens. And this one's got Pursuit Thrusters. So I could do a boost action. as its ability. I have another first order cadet because again, like we have 2 ships, so you can rock multiples. Senor Jamis test pilots. We got 2 of those. Then we have pre-made builds for squads that you could just reference and put those cards in and just have a good time. Here's one build. Here's another build. Here's another build. And here's another one. Now we go into the upgrade cards. What's fun is some of these upgrade cards, looks like they have pictures from episode 9, which is pretty cool. Some iconic scenes I'm seeing. A lot of upgrade cards. All right, let me find them all. A lot of cards. So like if you just want to get this pack just to get a variety of upgrade cards to use in your other squadrons, you can do that as well. Really, you're only limited, for example, like here looking at Enhanced Jammer Suite, is a ship could typically only use this type of upgrade if you have these symbols. But then also, this is what you need to have. And then also there's restrictions down below saying like, oh, only Team Whisper. But it's these slots you need to use. All right. All right, so I'm just going to show these off. Here's a feedback ping. We got, looks like a couple of those. We have ion limiter override. And you see below, like this can only go on a tie, and it's using your veteran icon if you have it. So it's got to be on someone that's typically a unique pilot, not a non-unique pilot. We've got a couple of those. We have compassion. Couple of those. Now it's interesting that this card's in the in here because it says only if you're light side. So, but this is for the first order. So I'm curious how you do light side in first order, because they're typically not light side. So like that kind of implies that you got cards that you can't even use in the same squadron. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it's just like, well, I know you're restricted by the faction. I don't think you're restricted by if you have to be light side or dark side when you're doing a faction, I guess. Don't really know. Anyway. Here's Malice. And this, for example, says dark side. Maybe you can choose what Kylo is, possibly. Not sure. We have Shattered Shot. Couple of those. We have Advanced Optics. We have Primed Thrusters. sensor scramblers. A couple of those. We have ion torpedoes. This one looked familiar from X-Wing 1.0. Well, at least the picture and the name, anyway. And that's torpedo. Obviously, all of the game text is a little different. Same with cluster missiles. Homing missiles. This obviously gives you a suite of missiles because you got bombers and the Whisper that might be able to also shoot missiles. I have to look at it. Considering it shot missiles in the movie, you would think it'd have a missile slot. I have to check it again. I'm sure it probably does. Electro shaft missiles. Now that's a new one. Maybe that's in the new rules. I don't believe I've seen that one before. That makes me think of like an ion type missile. Have another one of these. Then we have some unique gunner, looks like. DT-798. Another gunner, First Order Ordnance Tech. We have a couple of those. So you see you have a lot of customization options for a squadron. You can choose what pilots, and even if you're running these, everyone's running these same 3 ships, it's gonna be a little different because to what pilots you're gonna do, what upgrades you're gonna do, and then if you have other X-Wing expansions, you can use those cards potentially in these ships. So a lot of customization. Suppressive gunner. Got a couple of those. Concussion bombs. I think this is a new one too. I have not seen this one. Or at least it's a updated picture from 1.0. Of course, all the game text is a little different. Delayed fuses. Got a couple of those. Engine upgrade. This one, for example, gives you the boost functionality that the TIE bombers have. Another engine upgrade. Enhanced. Oh, and we already did that. Enhanced jamming suite, of course. Only have one of these. Cool, so that is all of the cards. To be honest, looking at these cards, I don't recall where you look to see how you know what weapons they can use. Like here again is Kylo Ren. And like for Armada, you see icons and all the type of upgrades that you can put on it. And this, I don't know. I don't know. I do not recall how you look for that in X-Wing. But anyway, like I said, this isn't the rules or meta chat. This is look at cool shit chat. All right. So what are the new rules? There's, I'll just show this to you because I'm just going to vaguely go over it just so you can pause the screen and take a look at your leisure. But there's new rules for deplete tokens, for the Electro Shaft Cloud, from the Electro Shaft Missile that we saw. There's fuse markers, there's strain tokens. Maybe that's different from stress, or unless stress is called strain now. I'll have to see what that's all about. And then there's the devices for the concussion bomb, Electro Shaft Cloud. Cool. Well, that is all of the pretties in a nutshell. As promised, I'll show you the ships one more time. I'll change the lighting, add a little more just in case that's a little bit easier to see. And we'll call it a day. All right, here again is one of the TIE bombers. And of course, like it's mentioned, you have 2. And then you have the TIE Whisperer, aka Kylo's ship. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. And of course, if you liked what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here or on YouTube channels. And expect future X-Wing streams for other content. And I'm going to re-look at collections now that I have for X-Wing, since I've got a bunch of ships going on now, to see new builds I can put together for each faction, which will be fun, especially with new cards. Haven't played with them yet. Well, thanks for watching. Again, this is Ismortah, and I will catch you next time.